So, another great guest with us here at the NOAA conference in Zurich. If you could say who you are and who you are representing.
So my name is Johannes Wesemann. I am the founder of Austrian registered NGO All Rise. And we're here to present our case, which was that we filed a criminal complaint against Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro to the International Criminal Court.
Right. So you have filed this through the court in The Hague, yeah?
Yes.
And what are you accusing him of doing?
Well, we're accusing him of accelerating the devastation of the Brazilian Amazon with, unfortunately, great impact on local level, on the civil population, indigenous people, but also on global level, on the climate. And we built part of our communication, our criminal complaint is the climate part, and we are now really able to prove scientifically the damage he's sort of causing, and it's devastating.
What is it, I mean, governments do all kinds of damage in the world. How do you think you can hold him accountable? Is it because Brazil has set a climate change target, or Brazil has put in place laws to protect the Amazon, but it's not doing it? Is it, I just wonder what the nitty gritty was, the actual, what has he done wrong apart from trashing the Amazon?
Well, the reason why we do that is mass deforestation is #2 climate killer. Yeah. August 20 until July 21, an area of 13,000 square kilometers have been deforested, which is equaling greater Tokyo area where 38 million people live, just to put that in a context. Yeah. So that's why we need to look at that. Then obviously there's a legal part. Legal means crimes against humanity. So we said environmental destruction has to be regarded as crimes against humanity because the Rome Statute does not have ecocide as a crime. And what is crime against humanity is very clearly defined. And how we are legally proving it is that we went with environmental defenders. So the legal avenue we took is environmental destruction in Brazil. Environmental defenders trying to protect it are being killed. Crimes against humanity. That's sort of a legal avenue because legally his contribution or his sort of responsibility for climate change is legally not to be proved.
Right, okay. It seems that this issue of using the legal process to hold governments and companies accountable for their actions in terms of climate change, but also in terms of human rights linked with environmental issues, that this seems to be something that's starting to maybe grow a little bit. I think we were just talking before, I remember a case where the Inuits in Canada were suing, I think it might have been the US administration of the time, for the melting of the ice and the robbing of their livelihoods. And was it just recently that the Dutch government was held responsible for not meeting its commitments under the Paris Climate Change Agreement? Do you think this will be a growing avenue of accountability or holding governments accountable that civil society and others will be taking in respect to environmental issues, climate change, and so on?
Yeah, absolutely. We need non-negotiable results. The politics is not able to deliver them. And so I think the major playing field to fight climate crisis are the courts. And it's a very good tool for civil society. And the momentum is absolutely in favor of this. We had in April in Karlsruhe, Germany, we had a landmark ruling saying, in principle, bad environmental laws affect all your human rights. That will change the whole German sort of juridical system dramatically in the next years. So yes, I think it's a very important tool, and it's a very good tool to hold those accountable who really intentionally destroy this planet.
Yeah. I mean, I worked for the United Nations for many years, and there was always this, we often convene judges and others and things like that in the legal system to try and encourage them to understand that when they first were becoming judges, many years before, a lot of these big international agreements on environment and things like that, which have been devolved down into national legislation in many countries, that they kind of happened after these judges, who are now quite old, got trained. So sometimes cases come to courts and judges actually don't really know about how to actually rule over these decisions because they were out of touch with the changes that have occurred in terms of environmental climate laws and things like that.
Yeah.
And maybe through the kinds of these court actions, you might actually also be educating the legal profession as well.
Absolutely, and I think this is going to be a great challenge for us, is that we're going to need to test existing laws.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know yourself, part of our laws are century old. Yeah, we need to test whether they're sufficient to provide those non-negotiable results. If not, we need to change it. If yes, we need to use them.
And what's your background? Is it a legal background or
Neither.
an activist background?
No, I'm an entrepreneur. I build companies. I'm in the digital arena. And that's how we did that here. It's very much about collaboration. It's about sort of opening new channels of capital inflow, securing capital inflow by possibly developing business cases. So I just look at it differently. I'm not coming with any NGO background.
Yeah.
We have a clear mission, we have a target, we have a great team, and we just go for it.
Well, that's interesting because sometimes people live their lives like living in boxes. Oh, I do this, so I don't do something else.
No.
You know, I might play a bit of tennis or something, but you know, that's what I do. But in fact, we are all citizens of the world, whether we are, you know, bankers, investors, bus drivers, doctors. You know, So that's really interesting. Yeah.
I think to finish that, I think we need to change the way we fight this climate crisis, and I think it is needed that entrepreneurs enter that space, and join forces with the NGOs, because at the end, those entrepreneurs, they understand the language of those who we are going to sue. And I think it's very important to have that on the same eye level. It's important to get the public on board. That's what we, for example, did. We made a huge campaign accompanying the filing process, because we think if we win the court of public opinion, we can win at the court in The Hague. So it's just a different approach, and I'm very positive.
Yeah. Let me mention something else which is also pretty crazy, which is, so what is happening to the Amazon is pretty crazy, but there's other crazy things going on in the world. We were very impressed by some numbers from the International Monetary Fund that were brought out just before the last UN climate conference in Glasgow, which was the amount of money that governments are spending on fossil fuel subsidies. And so we put it into not a count down, but a count up. And so you can see here right now that we are looking at, so since Glasgow started, only 3.5, 4 weeks ago, up till now, governments have spent close to $600 billion on fossil fuel subsidies, according to the International Monetary Fund. It's $11 million a minute.
Oh, bloody hell.
Now, surely this has got to be another absurdity in our society when we're trying to stop climate change. And yet, on the other hand, the same governments that have set all these emission reduction targets are also, probably not even thinking about it, still investing in subsidizing the oil industry or the fossil fuel industry.
Well, when you tell me how we're going to stop that, the politicians won't.
Yeah.
So it's really upon the courts, I think, to set rulings, and it's upon us to challenge them.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's crazy. I didn't know that number.
The government's agreed in Glasgow to phase down fossil fuel subsidies. So if they don't do that...
They agreed, or it was a pledge?
It was part of the outcome of the government's. Well, pledge,
It's a pledge. It's like the deforestation pledge.
Yeah. So we need to hold them accountable in other ways. Yeah.
Absolutely, because we don't have any, if they don't meet those agreements, they are not, still, it's impunity. It's always impunity. So, yes, we need to see them in court.
And we don't have time.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Okay.
Thank you.